back to Nugget Garage. Actually got some footage to show you. We ended up taking the Things panel van and the K10 down to Sydney pretty much for a week. We went down with a few mates and mates' bus and keeping the style. We're going to run, the idea being we're going to run the roll racing in Sydney on the Wednesday night. I was supposed to test the panel van on the Thursday, and then on the Saturday Jamboree, Mick was going to drive the van and I was going to drive the K10. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out that way. We got about an hour or two out of Sydney and Jamboree got cancelled, which means we could still do roll racing because that was still on. At that stage, the weather was okay. And then a few of the racers got together. I think Paul Mahoyt went and did a private track hire. It cost a bit more for a 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock window of time, so we decided we'd do at least one of those and see how we went. Anyway, I won't talk too much about it yet. I'll cut to the footage. It's a bit of a hodgepodge of people's videos. Didn't really get much myself. Make something out of that and I'll come back and talk about it.
What are you doing tonight? Is that a normal thing to do? Are you racing or you don't want to be in the camera, mate? Oh, just washing it.
Next up, the left lane, we've got this Corolla from Adelaide out from Queensland. I do believe this thing is purely built for roll racing. It's the first running in Sydney, that's how it goes.
it's legit, Bills. 4
Thank
Yeah, that one I won 270. Alright, so as you can see, the star of the show there was pretty much the Things panel van. Took it out to roll racing there. Took me about 5-ish passes to get a good, cleanish, drive shaft speed profile so that I could set up some traction control to make it more repeatable. I'm only using one drive shaft speed sensor on this, and we're using basically a target drive shaft RPM versus race time, which is triggered off the foot brake, and from there it derives an error to the target. And I'm using that just to cut cylinders, not doing ignition retard anymore because that was killing parts pretty quick. And drive-by-wire position. So once I had that data, I could get it to the point where I could pretty much just hold it flat. I had to do 2 pops in first gear as the power come on, and then once I was in top, it was clean. You could see the tyre was just hanging in there. I found anything more than about 42 pounds of boost up there. Couldn't keep the tyre on it. It was still quick enough to win the event, but I probably had 18 or 20 pounds of boost more I could use if I could figure out how to get it to mechanically grip in the top end. I don't really want it riding on the traction control down there. So basically got it to the point where it was a little bit loose to drive, but it was mostly hooked, which was good. We then obviously got the win. I was pretty stoked at that. I knew the car could do it. I was just so praying that I didn't stuff it up, jump the start, or so I didn't actually change the power for the last 5 runs. I just ran back to back to back to back. The car's beautiful. It runs at 82 degrees. The trans temp sort of fluctuates a bit, but you could hot lap that thing for 100 laps, I reckon, till you ran out of fuel, and it would be fine. We ran out of tyres probably. So yeah, after that roll racing, I mean, tons of people came up and said congratulations. It blew my mind, and my thumbs were sore from all the messages, which was great. Felt like a star. But yeah, after that, next day, we decided that we'd enter that test day. Didn't really have a choice. There's no Jamboree anymore, so we did that. Nick and the guys got up in the morning and we converted the car from roll racing to drag racing mode. Took the weights off it. In hindsight, we probably needed more weight back in the front, which I didn't get time to do. Put Mick's wheels on it, the 275 Radial Pro with a spacer. He then set out to do some passes. First couple of passes with the wagon, it did exactly what I thought it would do. It's just trying to head for the moon off the line. It's a more of a no prep car, so the weight split on it is more than 50. Actually, it's more than 50 back when you've got the weight on the back, and you got to really undo that for drag strip, which we kind of did, but it needed more ride height in the back. It needed more weight on the front. So what that meant is we wasted a couple of runs with it trying to head for the moon. Didn't do any damage. It was pretty squirrely. One of the runs went across the centre line nearly. But once I got the boost ramp settled down, to a point where it's too slow. It only went 1.3 something 64. I think it went 1.34 as its quickest. It went a 7.75 at 185, which is a PB, and then we put a bit more boost in it and another degree of timing, and it went 7.62 at 190, which 190 mile an hour was what my goal was for the weekend for that car. Mick drove the wheels off it as usual. Pretty stoked, man. It's on E85. It's a full wet 2J, and you know, other than it looking a bit illegal, you could legit drive the thing if you wanted to daily. The K10, you know, in hindsight, it hasn't been started since like July or August last year. We just freshened it up, put some fuel back in it, started it up, cleaned the injectors, chucked it on the trailer. Pretty much did the exact same ET as it always does. So the main reason why I was only doing 8th miles in it is we bled the brakes before we left, put some different fluid in it because this thing's got no brakes. It's ridiculous. Thought it was better, did the first burnout down there, and it did not stop at all. I had to roll to a stop, may as well take my foot off the brake. So, you know, I wasn't confident to do quarter mile passes. So I did a couple of 8s. I think I went a 5.13 at 135. I just got off it a little bit early, so it would have been back down to its 5.0s. Which actually is interesting because everyone tells me that the Sydney track is worth 2/10, but if any car's going to show it, it's that one because it just runs the same time over and over and over again, and it around the same time. So unless the advantage is in the back half, I don't know. But yeah, it ended up doing a couple of little wheelies, and you know, I probably shouldn't have brought it. I haven't really changed anything on it, and it's never going to do anything better than what it is unless I make some huge changes. Maybe, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Anyway, I'm not totally sure what we're going to do next. I think the Lakeside is on this weekend, which is done by OzTalk. It's going to be videoed. There's some really, really quick no prep cars coming to that. I don't really have a dig tune yet. I've got a pretty good roll tune, so I should be able to manipulate that a bit. Damage report wise, yeah, so I've hurt the gearbox. I think I've hurt reverse gear. Maybe some of the clutches have burnt up, which is really weird because we didn't even use bump or creep in this. It was just straight off the trans brake and it never moved. So I'm thinking maybe there's a bit of junk in the valve body somewhere. So hopefully that's a quick fix. Yeah, anyway, we'll get it to that track on Saturday, which is the 23rd. See if we can stir some of those boys up. And I'll make a video of that and I'll catch you next time.
The time.
Fucking 12, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. I reckon it's a prompt on. Fuck me dead. You're a bad influence, then. That was smoke.
Can we get a close up on this back tyre, please? Holy fuck! And I'm supposed to. Oh, I suppose it's got grip now, Go!
Oh, people